Here's two quick stories about two regrets that I have. And one of the stories actually involves today's guest, John. Probably 12 years ago or so, me, John, and another friend, we sat down in my one-room apartment deciding how should we spend this $300 that we have in our hands. Should we buy the 23andMe DNA test or should we buy Bitcoin? At that time, Bitcoin, I believe you could buy a pizza with Bitcoin. Sorry, with 10,000 Bitcoins. That was the big news at the time. I'm not sure. It's probably around 10 years ago or so. Anyways, we decided to go with the DNA test, which ended up being a colossal failure because we couldn't send our spit tubes into the States. They wouldn't accept it from Korea, unfortunately. So in the end, we didn't buy any Bitcoin, and we lost $40 on the delivery fee, sending up our tube of spit to the States. Another huge regret, in March 2020, right around my birthday, the market's all bottomed out. In my gut, I'm thinking, oh my God, I gotta buy something. Everything got cut in half over the past 3 days. Something's going to work out. Whatever I invest my money in, it's going to work. What did I do? I sat and did nothing. And that, especially Tesla, that's the one that burned me. I really, I kind of felt something special about that company. And as I watched it grow from, I think it went down to like $350 a share. I watched it grow to $700, and I thought, oh man, I can't buy it at double its price. I'm only going to get half the stocks. And then it went up to 1,000, and then it went up to 2,000, and then they split the stock, and now it's continually growing. I'm an idiot. I know nothing about investing. And this is a sweet time to segue into someone who does know something about investing. Listen, I've come across a sweet YouTube channel called Sekideul, Sekkideul. Check this out. Description here reads, pro tips for the foreigners who live here by accident. Content focused on how to manage your money in Korea and tips for achieving long-term and short-term financial goals. I've talked to the producer of this channel. He's a Canadian dude. Very intelligent, knows what's going on, isn't educated in finance. But listen, this guy's got some sweet insights. And for someone like me, who knows absolutely nothing, I think it's a good way to get your feet wet. He'll give you some pro tips on the hot tip of the week, what's coming up. You hear lots of people talk about, it's a bubble, it's a this, it's a that. And his recent video actually spoke to investing in Korea and what's the bubble all about and what's coming soon. So check him out, Sekideul, on YouTube. Anyways, back to, oh man, this thing's dragging on, isn't it? How long can this intro be? I'm still going. No, here we go. Anyways, just switching back to not acting on your instinct. John today is going to talk about what he did do. And so in the end, it didn't work out for him, but John actually moved to the States kind of on a whim, opened up a garage to repair cars. And, after Corona hit, that was kind of the final nail in the coffin. But I think in life, it's the not knowing that really kills us, not knowing what could have been, And John explored, and even though it didn't work out for him, I think it's the experience that counts. I don't think in 50 years he will look back and say, oh, I wish I hadn't moved to the States and tried a business that I was interested in. I wish I had just, kept my hagwon job or kept the status quo. So anyways, props to him. We had a great chat today. So hope you guys all enjoy.
You are now tuned into This Korean Life with your hosts, Brian and Nate.
Hold on a second.
Oh,
listen,
God,
I have
where
two.
does this come from?
Hey, listen, I got two Instagram accounts. One for ESL Hacker, and when I hit.
Are we going live now? Or
Yeah. No, not live, but
no. I mean, are we recording?
we're recording. Yeah, welcome back to another episode of This Korean Life, if I haven't said that. In here with us today is John. Now, listen, I want to stick to this Instagram thing because there's something a little funny going on. When I go on ESL Hacker and I hit the search, I hit the search icon, boom, it comes up. Idioms, these pictures, that picture, fighting highlights, UFC, the boxing, this, that. When we go on This Korean Life, I don't know if it's the information that we've put in, if it's recognizing the people who follow us, but it suggests, dude, it's all half naked.
Not the people who follow us.
It's all half naked girls and girls squatting at the gym, and you can't even look at it. You can look at it, but then you just get sucked into that watch me squat vortex, and you can't get out. Get sucked in.
All the photos are photoshopped as well. Like you can't, like none of it is real. Like you see them in real life, they won't look anything like that.
Well, I saw her yesterday. One of the girls at school, and she has 60,000 followers, maybe.
Yeah.
And I said, "How do you get that slim filter?" Like, okay, you're a little bit slim, but she's not like the pictures. And I'm like, "Is that a special filter? Why don't you send me that? I want to see what I look like in that filter, man. How good it upgrades me." But no, I mean, I think it's so toxic, and God, I don't know what I can do to keep my daughters away from seeing and getting into that. I think it's just the whole new generation of kids. They're all into that stuff.
It's got to be weird though, taking your own picture through the filter, looking at it, sharing it, getting likes, and then looking in the mirror and being like, "Whoa, that's not me," or having that realization that that's not me. People are liking this image
But
I've
that's what
shown
goes to
myself.
all the mental illness, and then it's anorexia and bulimia, and it doesn't matter how many people you have on there. Someone's always got more, so you're never going to be happy.
I think a lot of them have self-esteem issues. I'd say probably more than 90% of the people on there have self-esteem issues. Like the last chick I kind of dated, she had serious self-esteem issues. She was really pretty, but I mean, just going on those Instagram posts and stuff, she would like sometimes say I'm ugly and like say stuff like that.
But if you're comparing yourself to the people on there, like I only started using it since we started this thing. I only know Facebook. I don't do Twitter. I don't do anything else. I only started since we did these, and rarely do I search. Usually, I just follow someone else's friends or whatever. But one or two times when I know someone's on there that I want to find them, and then I'm like, holy. Is this what people do? And you're looking at 180,000 followers. You go, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
And then you're comparing to that? Like, that's your standard to compare to? Of course you always feel inadequate.
It's wild. But I still think the best way to lose weight is John's method of I'll prove you wrong. Again, this is the guy who's with us today. John is featured in the in the YouTube video on our channel. If you want to check that out after, we got he was the man nice enough to lend my dad a bike when he came down and we got pulled over. And you can watch the video, but you got the nickname Big John because when I first met you, you were a lot bigger, rounder than
112 kilos.
No way.
I think that was like my peak.
No way.
Yeah.
And you said that was a result of pizza school overconsumption?
Well, actually, it was a result of many things. Because when I was in New Zealand, I had a lot of problems with asthma.
Yeah.
And so they put me on corticosteroids.
Yeah.
You know, so steroids make you gain weight anyway, and it didn't help that I ate a lot of fish and chips over there. So you know, like when I came here, and I was like at the time I was dating a Samoan girl, so you know. The bigger you are, the more attractive you are. You remember? I think you saw her.
Deborah here?
Yeah. When I was in New Zealand, she came over to see me a couple of times.
No way. No, I don't remember.
You don't remember?
No,
okay.
no.
Well, anyway, so yeah, I was.
When did you come over?
Jeez, man.
2007.
Was it?
I think so.
Yeah, we came about the same time. Yeah, about the same time,
yeah.
you and me.
I was gonna say because I don't remember you from the early days, but I only remember you and Robbie from him.
Yeah.
And then it must have been after I had gone and come back. Maybe.
Yeah, right.
But John was, and I think we met probably at Wabar, I think a few times. Then we met in Ulsan Fight Gym.
Yeah, right, yeah.
And where I met Lenski as well.
You used to drive that old motorbike, the Troy, right? The little motorbike. You used to park that, and then
no. I had the blue Tiburon.
The blue.
And then I changed that in for the red Rocket there. That you've actually been a proud owner of at some point.
Yeah.
But when I met you, you were much bigger, and I think your weight loss journey started after Lenski told you, you'll never lose weight. You're like, oh yeah, watch this. And then you just start shedding the pounds.
Literally, I think in about less than a couple of months, I'd say I just went down to my current weight now.
It was a total spite move. Yeah. Lenski, I'm going to prove you wrong. You do all the math you want. What's my weight? Yeah, put that in your calculator, bitch.
Yeah, I think I kind of respond well to challenges. Actually, the other day I was swimming out in Jinha Beach, and
the
water
was
Japan. Freezing, man. I couldn't even go in. Like I was just like basically my belly button. Yeah. And I was like, oh man, it's freezing. I'm gonna go back. And then the guy on the jet ski came around and he said, hey, you can't go down. You can't go past these this markers here. And I was like, I got real angry. I just swam out to sea. I swam out really far. Yeah. And they called the cops and stuff. It was like
they're pretty vigilant with their with their rules for swimming out, even in Haeundae. Yeah. In the summer, you can only go. They have 7 million people safety. Packed in 3 meter.
There's 5 drowning scares a day because people can't swim and they underestimate the currents, and that I think that's a good thing to have.
I don't know. It's too much nannying here. I mean, if you're
foreigners who've learned how to swim, it's different.
Yeah, but
you see 30-year-old guys with bulging muscles that wear life jackets because they can't float. So,
but then why are you going in the water? So what are you doing?
So you punish everybody because some people can't. I mean,
some
people can't drive here. So does that mean we all shouldn't drive? I mean, it's
you drive with the restrictions, right? Mm-hmm. At home, you just think, hey, you know your limits. Don't be stupid. Mm-hmm. But here, it's like, well, I just think there's too many accidents. And it gives them a bad name. If Haeundae's got 3 drownings in a year, what does it do for tourism, for the reputation?
Well, they drown in the bathtub, these Koreans. I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, what gives? But they're like floating away on their jet skis, coming and going and coming and going. I mean, you'd think with all these, these people on jet skis coming and going, they'd be able to monitor people if you go, even if they go a little further.
But they got everyone jammed in like 3 meters from where the water begins, man. That seems more dangerous to me than
what was the. Yeah, but they're not in there when the waves are that big. They all wear life jackets.
Yeah, they do.
But what's Bondi Rescue?
Yeah.
There was a show on, and it was a while ago because it was when Lena was a baby, and I was up in the middle of the night rocking her or something, and I'm just, whatever the heck's on, I'll watch.
Isn't it 80%?
But it was like, every second one was a Korean. And it was.
They do. They actually, there are.
And there's no rules there. It's just everyone fend for themselves, use your common sense, but they just can't understand how the ocean works and how dangerous it can be.
Yeah. I don't know why it is Koreans, though. I mean, like, there's Chinese, there's, like, other Asian nationalities, but it always has to be the Koreans. It must be something.
The part that always flabbergasted me was there's oceans on 3 sides here. Yeah. Every other country in Southeast Asia with ocean around their country, all the kids know how to swim from 3, 4, 5, 6 years old.
They've been harpooning whales, though, man. They're not working on the backstroke. They're working on the spear chuck.
Yeah. Man, and surfers, I was honestly surprised. Like little kids, like literally, like little children, get on surfboards, and the current is really rough. Like for me, I was scared. Like I got out of the water. I kid you not, I got out of the water, and I'm a strong swimmer. I couldn't swim. Those kids get in. They use the little rips. Like I see a rip, I go as far away as I can from the rip. They're like, oh, rip, let's go. They take the rips and they go in, because they don't want to fight against the waves.
Wild.
They swim like, basically swim kind of perpendicular to the shore. Like it takes them in and then they spin parallel to the shore, get out of the rip and surf back. And I'm like, these are little kids, like
it's wild.
It's really, man. I'm like, wow. I was shocked, to be
honest. One of my wife's friends, her husband like to go surfing, just a regular Korean ajashi, and he smashed his head on a rock. He didn't have any. I don't think he was wearing a helmet. He crushed his head on a rock.
Why would you wear
Who wears a helmet surfing?
Yeah, I guess so. No, but I thought maybe for a beginner or something. I guess not.
You're in the ocean.
You're in the ocean, man. What are you? I mean,
if you're surfing
no, hold on.
a
Wait a minute. No, I said that like.
Was he whitewater rafting or something, or what?
No, dude, he was surfing. But I know that sounds stupid, but I think.
Thank God he wasn't wearing a helmet. Jeez.
No, but
you'd look like a real.
Absolutely, but I think for some reason, he always wore a helmet, but that time he wasn't. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I'll get the full story. I'll update next podcast. But he smashed his head, man, and He had planned on going alone, but his friend called him at the last minute, and ended up saving his life, man. Can you imagine? Oh, that's wild. What are you surfing near rocks for, anyways?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you're a beginner, you shouldn't be. But in Bali there, if you're on some of those reef breaks, I mean, the water is not that far below, or the reef's not that far below.
Yeah,
but if you want the good break, that's where you got to go. But those guys have the rash guards and stuff, and sometimes you get dragged across the reef.
The ocean scares the hell out of me, man. Again, same strong swimmer. I don't know. I think it's something in my DNA tells me don't go on a cruise. Don't go in the middle of the ocean. That's some scary stuff out there, man.
Yeah, in Australia, I mean, I don't think anybody wears helmets. There's a lot more scary stuff than rocks.
I'm picturing
The sharks this year in
sharks.
Australia, I think they've killed three or five people. I can't remember.
My mom lives right on the beach, and the first time I went to visit my mom in Gold Coast, I was like, yeah, surfer's paradise. I'm gonna go for a swim. And I was swimming, and some guys on a boat came by, and they were like, "You're a brave man." I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "There's great whites in this water." I'm like, "What?" They said, "You better turn around, buddy."
I saw Jaws.
Yeah, man. And then some other places, I don't think it's in the Gold Coast, but some other places, I'm not sure where, they're telling me there's box jellyfish. They call them stingers, I think, over there. They basically, you're paralyzed in the water. Once they sting you, you're paralyzed, and then you drown.
Are those the ones that they're as big as a washing machine? Those massive.
I'm not sure, actually. I haven't really looked them up, but
We saw some huge ones here up the North Coast this year. There's been some.
There's a lot of jellyfish this year.
I don't know where I
big
saw them,
ones.
but I saw. I think it was maybe in Japan where they were ripping them out of the water, and the fishermen thought oh, these things are. I don't know if they're eating all the fish or getting stuck in the nets, and they said what they were doing is they were cutting them. And they were just throwing them back in the water, and they thought, oh, this will get rid of them. But they said once they cut those big jellyfish, they release all their seed, and that just repopulates the whole. They're basically just dumping a bunch of semen into the water, and everything's getting pregnant underneath.
Oh,
Wild times.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you swim and you can feel your skin burning. I think it's the shit from the jellyfish.
Right.
Yeah. So
What they
when you swim in the water, you don't touch anything, but still, I don't know if it's the semen that you're talking about or whatever it is. When it touches your skin, it causes some sort of allergy. Your whole skin, your whole body feels itchy.
Yeah, I've never gotten that many places, but it does happen here, and my daughter's had it this summer.
Yeah.
Is it pee? You're supposed to pee on it? Is it? I don't know. Is that just something funny or?
That's what we did.
That's what I heard. Yeah.
I was in Central America, and I got a good one wrapped right around my leg, and it was burning like crazy. And buddy,
don't worry, buddy.
pulled it out and
I'll pee on you.
peed on it, and then we went back and we
Let
had
me finish my coffee.
we had a couple local remedies, but no, the first one is to pee on it.
You ever have a leech on you?
Oh, all the time. Get them at the farm.
A leech, that little black thing that
No,
sucks your
I
blood.
haven't.
Go plant rice on the farm. You get 20 of them.
No way.
Yeah.
Sure, there's lots of them. Yeah.
You salt them or you fire them?
Just rip them off.
Really?
Yeah. They're not. It's not like home. You can get huge ones at home, but
Don't they use them in India to they say they suck the bad blood out or something?
Yeah.
they use them during surgery.
What?
They use them during surgery to control the blood.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't want that shit on me.
But no, they got them out.
You
got 'em
wake
out
up
on
on
the farm.
anesthesia. What the hell is?
I remember when we were
Back in
young
the-
and we would go places. I remember riding back with the family, and Mom would say, "Okay, everybody, check your toes and your fingers and your armpits and whatever to see if there's."
What's the movie?
And you
Stand
find
by
a
Me?
leech between your toes, and you're like, "Holy shit!"
Oh, yeah.
In Stand By Me. Have you ever seen the movie?
No.
Oh God, such a good flick. Anyways, yeah, the kids go into the random little pond in the middle of the forest, and they all come out with leeches and good times. Anyways, John, you're back here. You did your full quarantine.
Mm-hmm.
And how was your experience?
Well, it was pretty good. I mean, as soon as I came through the airport, actually very, very professional here. Everything is really well controlled. I mean, I was really impressed.
We had Philip Brett on a couple weeks ago, and he was saying coming from or seeing how they handled things here and how they did it in Ireland were totally different. Everyone was kind of relaxed, masked down by their nose, not checking temperatures. Maybe just hey, you feeling okay? All right, you're good.
Well, it helps that they set proper rules. when I was in the States, nobody knows what the hell is going on. Like there's no actual. Here they have proper protocols in place, and also people here tend to follow the rules a lot more than people over. I don't know, over in the States, for example, people are like, well, we want our
Why wear a
freedom,
helmet when I'm surfing?
Why wear? It's more like why wear a mask when I'm shopping? It's like until I came here, it wasn't like. Only a few places were like some grocery stores were like you have to wear a mask, and some others were like you don't have to wear masks here. Like some places actually
in California.
In California, some places we don't require, like people had actual signs on it. We don't we really don't care if you wear.
Is that
a mask
just
or not.
is that an indirect way of saying who you're voting for?
I have no idea. Yeah, I thought so as well.
Instead of putting the
Target
sign
market,
on you.
man.
Yeah, basically, it's the land of freedom, but
Oh, that's interesting. Did you ever witness any of the Facebook videos that I see sometimes? People full meltdowns like, I'm not wearing a mask. Call the cops. I'm not putting a mask on my face.
Well, there's a few incidents like that I've seen. But,
How long were you there?
probably about 2.5 years.
No, hey.
So you were there when the first cruise ship came in and was docked off the coast.
Yes, I was.
And that was the first cases coming into America. What was that? Where were you in California?
San Diego.
Oh, it was a little bit south, maybe.
Yeah, south.
But that was docked off of the coast of LA, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, I think it was pretty close to where I was.
And that was everyone was don't let him on, leave him on the ship, let him
Yeah,
die,
yeah.
leave him alone. And now they got 150,000 a day.
Yeah.
I was out hiking with a friend yesterday, and he was saying he was in Cambodia when one of the ships was I don't know where the ship was coming from, but it was full. It had a bunch of cases on it, and when they came off the ship in Cambodia, well, I think it was the president took a bunch of them and give them the full city tour in Phnom Penh. give them the full city tour, and then the cases started exploding after that.
Wow.
Oof. Poorly
Well,
handled.
that was one of the ships that couldn't dock anywhere, and they just kept going to ports until someone would let them in, because they didn't want to have to refund all the passengers. We said we're going to these 8 places. 6 of them said no, so we'll just try and go anywhere that'll let us dock and take the business. But yeah, a lot of them brought the corona with it. So.
Pockets open in Cambodia. Eh? Anyways, you in Korea teaching for a decade,
Yeah.
and then
over that.
and then you decide to pick up and leave and open a body shop in California.
Well,
What
it wasn't
a
a
jump.
body shop. It was like a mechanic shop. But
Yeah.
I mean, the reason I left is as you can see, salaries are actually going down. Like
Yeah.
in Korea for English teachers, and the cost of living is obviously going up.
Yeah.
So I thought it's better to jump ships now.
Yeah.
But
Jump
was
back.
the wrong timing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't regret it. It was an experience that
Absolutely,
I probably learned
yeah.
a lot. I mean, I learned a lot in those 2 years. I mean,
Absolutely,
you name it,
man.
I've learned it. Like accounting, payroll, sales, marketing. Everything.
Dude,
I mean,
looking back in 20 years, you're not going to regret remember those 2.5 years I spent in California with sunny skies every day. I wish listen, during those years, that was like Mise Munji, like
yeah, I heard
central
about that.
here.
Yeah,
Yeah,
right.
It was
yeah.
terrible.
I heard of
It was terrible.
How did
picked
you
it-
decide to go there, and what got you into the mechanics?
Well, I went there. I've got family over in San Diego. I went to visit because it was my cousin was getting married, and while I was there, I bumped into a friend of the family who he owns a few businesses in San Diego, and he's illiterate. He can't read and write, but he was driving a brand new Lamborghini, like the Murcielago did. And I was like, oh, wow. I was like, wow, that's an interesting car. Took me for a ride. He was like, oh, you like cars? But yeah. He's like, oh, I've got a few businesses related to cars. So he's got a few body shops, and he decided to open a mechanic shop. It's actually not even a mechanic shop. It wasn't like an inspection for high-end cars.
Okay.
And but didn't really work out because people in California just buy things on impulse anyway. They just go and just buy whatever. But anyway, he turned into a mechanic shop, and he's like, let me show you. And when I went in, I just saw. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Snap-on. It's like it's a very
Tool company.
Yeah, And this whole shop is just, I went in and it's all red and everything in there, even the broom, is a Snap-on broom. So I just like, I'm like, wow, like.
It's funny. It's funny you say Snap-on because I worked in the garage for 3 or 4 years in uni, and in Korea here, it's so cheap. The labor's so cheap. You don't get into a lot of home repairs and fixing your own car and stuff. But I find now when I need a tool, I go to Daiso to get it. It costs $1. You use it 3 or 4 times, but
then throw it out. Yeah.
I mean, all the mechanics used to have Snap-on, and they had lifetime warranties, and that was the only set of tools you ever needed was Snap-on or Craftsman. But man, now I feel so cheap. I go to Daiso, get a $2 wrench, fix the bike seat or whatever, and I'm like, where's my toolbox with all the tools? And I mean, Snap-on was such a reliable and dependable brand that everybody had.
Yeah, well, that's actually, these days it's all about like use and throw away. And buy new. It's not even just tools. It's everything. TVs. It's actually it's become so like years ago you take your TV in to get repaired. These days you just throw it out and get a new one. And now it really applies even to people. Like when people have a problem with their husband or wife, they just throw them out and get a new one. It's the way it is. The way society's moving. So. But to me, I like, I used to have like a few Snap-on tools here, or back in New Zealand. And I was like, man, these are like my precious tools. When I went in and I saw all these tools, and I'm like, geez, man, how much did you spend? And he said, I've got receipts for about $600,000. And I'm like, Jesus Christ. I mean, the shop is so pretty, and I was like, he's like, oh, I'm thinking of selling it. And I'm like, well, how much are you asking? And he said, less than half what I paid.
Beautiful.
To make it. And I was like, I just couldn't say no. It was just like so pretty. I guess I went in from like, I was just thought like, oh man, I'd love to own this. Yeah. And at the same time, I looked at the books and I thought, well, I can make it work, like, cause he wasn't even going to the shop, and I was making probably netting about $10,000 a month.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So I thought, man, even if I net 5 at this stage, I just, I'm happy. But things, once I took over the business, I had a manager there who like kind of backstabbed me. It was supposed to work with me.
Come back a minute. How do you, visas, and you go there for a wedding and all of a sudden you're buying a business. Right. It's so random. Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah,
you went from 10 years as an English teacher to a mechanic.
Well, you said it's a California style. You buy an impulse.
Well, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, if you're Californian, it makes a difference. If you can't get a visa, that's a different story.
No, I got the visa. It's very simple. If you invest, it's called an E2 visa. Funny enough, the same as the visa I'm on here now. So it's an investor visa. If you invest a substantial amount of money in the United States, and you're hiring American workers, you can get a visa. A lot of Korean people try and get this visa. So when I went for the interview at the American embassy, there was 4 other Koreans with me. I actually talked to them, and most of them have been rejected like once or twice.
No way.
Yeah, it was for some reason the guy just like, as soon as I came in, he just talked to me. He was like, yeah, I mean, we got a solid shop and a solid plan, and go ahead. He just looked at the projections and said, yeah, no problem.
You showed him the Snap-on broom. He's like, all right, bro.
I did show him the pictures, and he was like, man, that's a nice shop. He actually commented on it, and he's like, wow, that's a nice looking shop.
So the problem was the Koreans that took the TOEIC and the TOEFL to get in there couldn't understand what the substantial amount of money was?
I don't. No, I think they probably invested a lot more money than I did, to be honest with you. Because I talked to one guy, and he was opening up a business selling dental materials over in the States. So I imagine that's something that's probably, it's a significant investment. But he got rejected twice. Yeah, and he has a business here, and he's trying to open another business over in the States. So but yeah, I mean, anyway, I don't know why they got rejected or and what happened, but
you had a pretty smooth
when I talked to them and they said like, oh, we got denied twice, I was like, oh,
damn,
yeah.
You had better fortune.
Well, yeah, in some ways I did. At the embassy I did, yeah. When I went over there, it was a different story, man. It's a lot, that California...
Is that your first time to the States?
No, I've been to California many times because, as I said, I have family there. I've got a lot of I've got like 4 cousins over there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so...
Cool.
In San Diego, Orange County, San Francisco. Yeah. So.
Awesome.
So you opened up the shop. How did it go?
At the beginning it was good, and then obviously the workers started asking for pay raises and all that. I said, hey, I just literally took over. Just give me a couple of months at least, Basically, the manager who I was working with, I saw him cutting a lot of corners, and so I was like, hey, basically you don't do that. And he was like, yeah, okay, I want a pay raise. So I was like, yeah, sure, let's talk about it. And he was like, well, I want to spend some more time with my family. And I'm like, okay. He's like, you manage it now. For now, I need some time off. He took some time off, and he was actually opening up another shop right next door.
Ah, gutless.
And so we had a few commercial accounts, and he just took those accounts, And to make matters worse, he took like 2 of the employees that I had who were working there, and they were working there from day one, So they're like, they knew. So it was basically just me and another guy that I just hired. So I had to. Yeah, it was brutal at the beginning, but.
So were you just running the show, or were you fixing cars?
I was fixing cars. Actually, if you look at the reviews, a lot of people who came in and asked for John, you fix my car. And I mean, I'm a hobbyist. I'm not like I didn't like do this as a job before, but I used to fix my own cars. In New Zealand, everyone works on their cars, and I guess it's the same in Canada.
Used to be.
Yeah.
I don't know these
Absolutely.
days.
Well, these days people can't change a tire. So.
Yeah.
But don't. What are you guys looking at me for? I can't. I have a hard time pumping gas. But I remember you used to work on bikes here too, right? You spent a lot of time at Mr. Lee's.
Yeah, I used to work, here. Like I just, because like I have a lot of Korean friends who are in the industry of in mechanic shops, like bike shops. I used to order parts, as you know, for Mr. Lee for the boats. And, And I mean, actually, I just saw Mr. Lee not so long ago, and he asked me to order some parts. Yeah.
Is he a firefighter now? Or doing some marine rescue or something?
He was with the the Ililku, the 119, the rescue. He was
he just
their
fixing
boats
the
and
boats?
jet skis and things. Yeah,
Okay.
Because he runs a show at the Ulsan Marina, over in by Jinha.
Yeah.
And I just went to see him the other day.
He's doing all right.
Yeah, he's doing well. He's
So that was right when you took over the shop?
right when I took
Buddy
over. So
jumps in.
literally about 2 months in it, he just jumps in, opens another shop. I told him like, hey, we can talk about it, whatever. He was like, nah, I got another shop. And
So what happened?
so he took 2 of my commercial accounts, and they were pretty big accounts. So I went from making money to literally just like losing a whole bunch of money every month. And it took me a while to actually build up my my customer my customer base. The reason the other thing is he was cutting a lot of corners, and so cars were coming back from before I even took the shop. He was cutting a lot of corners. Like you got some things like you learn some things on when you work on these cars, like for example, a lot of the I mean, I don't want to get technical here, but a lot of the cars these days they have aluminum blocks, and so like doing head gaskets and things like that, when these are like things people used to do a long time ago. It doesn't work anymore because aluminum, it's the block gets like warped, and if you try and do a head gasket, you send the head to the machine shop, put it back on. The block itself is not,
it's warped. It's not the
it's
same.
warped. It's not. It's gonna leak still, or in a few months, in 6 months time, cars are gonna come back with the same problem. And so, with these kind of situations and that, you either change the whole engine or you don't even touch the car, But he was cutting a lot of corners like that, and even during when I was there, he did a few, a couple of jobs, and they came back, and I had to.
They're angry at you.
Well, of course they got angry at me, but I trusted him and they trusted him, and actually a lot of them, like people are like, they're said to me, you're a lot more trustworthy than the other dude. But he seems, like when you talk to him, he like makes customers feel comfortable. He's got that charisma. He does, yeah, exactly. He's got the charisma, and he was, banking on that. But
so what would you do differently next time? What did you learn from Buddy stealing two company accounts and taking off?
What did I do?
You learn? What would you do different next time?
I would definitely, if I was opening a business, I would I mean, when I first opened that business, I said, hey, look, it's not important, your expenditure, it's important to get the customers in. I kind of disagree with that. I think you need to start off, start off safe, basically. Have a safe investment where your overheads are very low. Like, for example, in Korea, you'll see a lot of the businesses that are going to survive this corona are the people with a very low overheads, where you got like 1 or 2 employees, and your rent is very cheap. But if you got rent of $8,000 a month, you have struggled to keep your head above water when shit hits the fan,
Unless you got a huge bankroll behind you, it's hard to maintain, especially through corona. We've seen places, restaurants, and other businesses fail, and it's
food industry got hit hard here in Korea.
Yeah.
Was Buddy next door in the new shop successful, or if he was cutting corners and somehow he managed to steal 2 company accounts?
His customers were, a lot of the customers that went to him were so disappointed they came back to me, and they were like, he's a Mexican fella, so a lot of the Mexican fellas, like there was, I kid you not, the body shop next door to him, they started bringing me cars, and he literally like he's right next door, like they're door to door. There's only a wall between them, and they said that he is just so dishonest. But
long term, you'll never.
From the time I spent around the shops and getting cars fixed with stuff we couldn't fix at home, I don't think there's too many honest mechanics out there. I mean, I was at Canadian Tire, and we were told to upsell everything. I want an oil change. Oh, do you want your brakes checked? Do you want this? Do you want this? Hey, I checked your brake. And there's a lot of undercover ones, especially in the States. The 15-minute Jiffy Lube oil change. And all of a sudden ends up being like $300. They found 20 problems. And they start... I remember watching one not long, maybe a year ago. And we're at your shop. And we cut a slit in the fan belt. And then we bring it there and we see what they're going to do. And they end up telling us we need $1,000 worth of work. But half of it is stuff we just did. We just completely fixed the whole car, changed the brake fluid, power steering, everything. And they recommend changing all that shit again. And it went to court. It went to the federal court and the Supreme Court. And I forget, Jiffy Lube or somebody. And they said this is just straight up fraud. That the guy is told his employees that they have to do this. They have to charge more. They have to charge for services they didn't do. And they put cameras in the car and they checked. And it was a complete fraud. And this is one of the biggest chains across the States. So,
but
I don't think that surprises me. I mean, I've seen dishonest mechanics all the time. I mean,
but they're preying on ignorance, right? And that's the same as interior guys here, or someone going in. My favorite story is still the girl who went to like 7 different dentists here, and one said you have 1 cavity, the other one said you need 3 new crowns, you need 5 root canals, you need dentures. They give her everything. And she flew back home to Canada, and her dentist said, like, you have sensitive teeth. Just use this toothpaste. You're going to be fine. There was nothing wrong. Can you imagine if she had gone all in on, like, the first dentist and said you need 5 root canals? They'd be drilling in her mouth for no reason, man. That'd be unreal.
That sounds hard to believe, because if you're doing a root canal, you'd take an X-ray and you'd show them where where the cavity is, and if it's a root canal, it would have hit the nerve already, or pretty close to hitting the nerve, so you would feel the pain. But you can see it on the X-ray. I don't know what dentist she went to. They must have been like
she listed them all. It's on Wilson Online. I'll try and find it. It was funny. It was a substantial post, like,
and she's not the only one. I remember others. I mean, lots of people asking for second, third opinions. I mean, I don't know anyone who's been to the dentist and said you got more than 1 or 2 or 3 problems. But in Korea, lots of foreigners. He said I got 8 cavities. I know I haven't been to the dentist for that long, but I still brush my teeth every day.
Been brushing with molasses.
I better check someone else out.
I just asked to see the X-rays, and I look at the X-rays and I see that if they see a cavity, if it's a small cavity, I say, well, just
I'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean, all right. Yeah, so it's
just swallow some toothpaste. It'll fill itself back in.
Yeah, I've got pretty good teeth, but some of the foreigners that have come here, I don't know, they've got pretty bad teeth. Like, I mean, I knew a dentist here, and it was like a couple. He said, like, he actually told me, I don't know what it is about the guys that come from England. I don't know why he singled out the English people. They all have bad teeth.
Man.
I don't know what I mean.
I knew to keep my guard up after I broke my toe, and the guy suggested immediate surgery to put a pin in my toe. I was like,
my God.
dude, what do you? For what? I'm like,
They
my
recommend
toe.
surgery for everything.
Yeah, okay.
Surgery.
So bones here, and like the orthodontists and all that, they just, what do you call them? Not the orthotics, I mean, the
Yeah.
people who do they do anything with bones, they always recommend surgery and yeah, it's just for everything. And,
Oh, dude.
I got a shot in my, have you had any corticosteroid shots in your when I was doing jiu-jitsu, like, because I injured my one of my
Fingers,
fingers, and he just said like, hey, you gotta do like cortisone.
Cortisone.
And I'm like, oh man. And there was one other doctor who actually recommended something. I can't remember the name of it, but it's basically a sugar injection. It's not really proven. It's kind of like you gotta look at it. I can't remember the name of the actual treatment, but
It translates to placebo effect.
yeah, it's basically placebo
Is
effect.
it an injection or an
It's
IV?
it's an injection in the actual joint.
Oh, okay.
And he said this is gonna help, And I said, well, is it painful? Because usually with the cortisone ones, they have lidocaine with it, which is a
Lidocaine.
Yeah, lidocaine, which is a, what do you call it? It's kind of like basically
Number or
number, yeah.
what's the
and
a freezing?
yeah, well, no, it doesn't
what's
freeze.
the name? The
analgesic, is it? No, it's not analgesic. It's
Anesthetic?
Anesthetic, yeah,
is
local
it?
anesthetic.
Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, I forgot all my medical stuff. Anyway, so this guy is like, he couldn't speak any English, and he's like, telling me like, hey, he was gonna inject it with this and that, and then I was like, in Korean, I was like, is it painful? And he said. And he just, the only word he said was in English was excruciating pain. And I was like, oh God.
The neighbor translate.
Yeah, and I was
It
like,
hurts.
yeah, okay,
Excruciating pain.
yeah, and I was like, okay, all right. So he actually like injected my finger with it, and I kid you not, it was so painful. And I was like, oh my God. And then like suddenly I actually like blacked out.
Yeah.
I kid you not. I blacked out. It's my first time in my life. It was so painful. I actually blacked out. And I almost fell down. Like fell off my chair. And then like I was with my girlfriend at the time, and she like pushed me up. She like, held me up, and I was like, oh, what happened? She was like, you blacked out. I'm like, oh God.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. And I honestly, I don't see any like I don't think it helped, or it was just So those
Just
the bone doctors here,
Yeah. Well, you got to go to one that you know, anyways, because
well, that was a very good hospital. It was good Samjang Pyongwon here in Ulsan.
Joe and Samjung, yeah.
And that was the doctor was recommended by a friend of ours. If you know Mr. Dr. Kim, who we do jiu-jitsu with us. Yeah, he's the one who recommended him personally.
Wow.
So I mean, I don't know if he was just
Gotta get the call ahead before you go.
Dude, I mean, I would really get a second opinion on those things. But I think with teeth and all that, it's just plain X-ray. You look at the X-rays and you can tell what's. So I don't know what happened.
Well, I think most people don't know how to read X-rays. I mean, the average person going to the dentist doesn't.
Well, the average Korean doesn't even ask what kind of medicine they give. They give you all these, this. Like,
That's my wife used to get so.
These envelopes with like little pills in them that look like candy, and you just eat them.
My wife was so embarrassed. I was like, "What's this? What's this for? This is for. What's this one for? This is for the." And she's like, "Why are you asking me? Because I'm not just eating this random bag of shit for no reason. This is for digestion." I'm like, I think I'll be okay.
Sometimes they give you like, stuff like randomly. You go in for a cold and they'll give you like Prozac or something. Isn't there?
I find there is though. They randomly prescribe all kinds of stuff.
That's true. Yeah. And there was a girl. I think it was. I think she might have published her story on Ulsan Online or something. And she said they did like she actually said, well, I'm kind of stressed out from work or something, and I have a cold, so please give me some medicine. And they gave her Prozac, I think. Literally, they gave her Prozac. She was high as a kite in the classroom, apparently.
Oh, Christ.
So, it pays to actually ask what he's prescribing.
Yeah.
And, like, sometimes they don't even ask if you have, like, an allergy to certain antibiotics or something like that, which I find, like, is kind of.
But I think another part of the problem is a lot of people don't speak Korean. Or have been too ignorant to learn Korean, and if you're not going to the well-known English-speaking doctor or one of the 3 or 4 or whatever, or if you're supposed to go to Donggu, to the university hospital where you can get good service in English or world-class service in English, if you're just going to the neighborhood clinic, then there might be some taking advantage of ignorance. There might be some unprofessionalism. It might be whatever, but part of that is our own fault for not learning the language and not You know, that's why they say
absolutely.
bring
But if
someone who
you-
speaks Korean or
What about if you approach it from if you go back 50 years or whatever, when young kids were dying, early in life, and maybe now the over prescription of drugs is a result of them being sick and malnourished or whatever, post war. Maybe now they think, oh, we got the medicine, why not use it? Why not take that discomfort away?
Well, I used to work in a medical lab, right? So we do something called culture and sensitivities. When people have a problem, a bacterial infection of some sort, we do culture. We culture the pathogen, or the basically the bacteria causing the problem, and we do something called sensitivities on it. So we have like 6 different antibiotics. It's like a stamper. You just stamp it on the agar plate, and you can measure it's a halo, right? So it kills the bacteria, and you can measure how many millimeters away from each antibiotic disc. And that distance is how effective the antibiotic is. So when I recommend an antibiotic for the pathogen, I can just measure the distance, and I can say, well, this antibiotic has got like 5 millimeters, so that's the best antibiotic to prescribe. Comparing younger people to older people, the people born years ago, in the 50s and the 40s, you can see actually the halo is actually much they're very sensitive to a lot of the antibiotics, because I think when they were young,
it works well on them.
Works better, yeah. So
absolutely.
they actually, I guess, people didn't prescribe that many. I don't know that much antibiotics back in the day or whatever. Or they're just like young people these days. Those lines are very, very close. You
don't think diet has a lot to do with it?
It could be. I don't know. It's I can't just say. I can't just put it down to to one thing, because that's not a scientific way to just interpret the results. But in general,
well, I know what it is.
in
It's all that
general.
orange juice they've been drinking. I don't know. I think I lead more towards just, again, instinctual feeling that if you're taking antibiotics for every sniffle or sneeze that you have, you're probably less sensitive to it. But.
Well, obviously these days, these days people are more. Doctors are actually better, even in Korea, And if you notice, basically, if you take an antibiotic course, you should finish the course, because if you don't finish the antibiotic
It's gonna
course,
come back stronger. Yeah.
yeah, exactly. The bacteria, what the bacteria does is, I can actually build a bacteria in the lab that is immune to antibiotics. The way I do that is, as I said to you before,
You heard it here first. John started Corona.
I was gonna say, this sounds eerily familiar to Wuhan.
yeah. Well, the reason, the way you do it, was
First, you get a bat.
no. First, okay. So you culture the bacteria that's closest to the disc, to the antibiotic disc, the closest to the halo, and you keep culturing it, and that line shrinks and shrinks and shrinks until it becomes obsolete. So. You can actually, it's a natural selection of bacteria. The bacteria
breed
gets
the
closer and
strongest.
closer.
Yeah.
You breed in them to be stronger and stronger and stronger. And that's what you do exactly when you take a half a course of antibiotics. But again, here in Korea, they only prescribe probably 2 or 3 days of antibiotics, and they don't want you to come back and get this, the rest of the course, because they want to get charged for two visits. So
That's the insurance game here.
yeah, it's the insurance game, which is, I think it's not I actually say, hey, look, just give me the proper 7-day course.
I got the guy now. He says, do you want 5 days? I was like, what's the option? 2 or 3? Wow, of course I want the 5. Come on.
Yeah.
If it was 5 or 7, give me the 7. But no, I got a guy now who's good, and I said, listen, don't tell me to come back. Nothing's changed 2 days later. Just give me the 5 course. If it's not gone, we'll come back. If it is.
But I've noticed these days that the doctors have improved here, and in terms of things like that, like prescribing antibiotics and things like that, and they also they ask you how long have you had this problem, because a lot of it is actually asking about basically gotta investigate, but how long have you had it? Because if you've just been sick for 1 day, could it be a viral infection? You might not even need antibiotics at all.
That was the problem I had when my son was young. We'd go in, and they'd do the regular checkups, and they'd check his ears and be like, oh, he's got an ear infection. Is it bacterial or viral? Oh, we don't know. Take the antibiotics and you'll sort it out. Like, shouldn't you be testing that or
I didn't even have to
first?
get checked. Just go in and say, can I get a bucket of that pink medicine, whatever it is?
Yeah.
Just give me the 6 liters of it. I don't need the little
Or was
20
it-
milliliters.
Was it the ear infection or the eye infection? I can't remember. We couldn't figure out if it was bacterial or viral, but. Anyways.
But I'll tell you one thing: there are some really good doctors here. Like over at like Hana Hospital here in Ulsan. I mean, honestly, they're just so good.
Yeah.
Their ENTs over there are so good. I've actually had sleep apnea, and so I went there.
You get the Darth Vader machine?
Man, I went on I did the sleep study,
Yeah.
So I actually had to stay the night over there. And, I looked at all my rhythm and they said that you have serious sleep apnea. And the doctor over there, he recommended 3 surgeries at once. He's like, it's probably more like 4. So he said nasal septum, the turbinate bones, which is like the 2 bones on the sides here, palatal muscle resection, which is the top of the
roof of your mouth.
Roof of the mouth, yeah. And then he also recommended getting my the tonsils removed. Getting your tonsils removed is the most painful surgery I've ever had in my life.
I got it when I was like 5. That was standard.
Yeah,
for you too?
5 is.
I haven't, no, but I mean, I know a lot of people who have.
So
That's so
So
weird.
hold on. When he tells you need 3 surgeries, your thought is not, hold on, this is crazy. My sleep apnea is not that bad. Come on.
No, it was bad.
Or what do you think?
I was tired as shit.
No. The problem with sleep apnea is, I mean, you could probably endure and just like live
do,
with
right?
it. Yeah, a lot of people do, but later
tired
on
of-
it was gonna cause heart problems and things because you're, like my blood pressure at the time was high. Like it was high for no reason. I wasn't even stressed out. Right now it's come back to normal after.
Have you had the surgeries?
I've had the surgeries. Yeah.
Oh, you did them?
Yeah, I did them.
Recently?
No, like just before I went to the States. Right before I went.
Slept like a baby.
Dude, it's before I always used to have like one nostril that was blocked, and then they used to like swap. Like, if I sleep on this side, this one gets unblocked. If I sleep on that side, this one. But now it's like they're both like perfect.
Beautiful.
Yeah, the guy did an amazing job.
And what's the difference? What do you notice?
Man, I sleep much better. I
Wake up refreshed.
It's like I wake up refreshed. I even my endurance is like better. I can run more.
What's the recovery time on the surgery?
Well, the biggest problem was that what do you call it?
Tonsils.
The tonsils, man. That was so painful. It took me a long time to get over this. I'd say probably about. I mean, 2-3, at least 3 weeks.
No way.
Yeah, it was really painful. If you get it done as a child,
It was like neutering dogs at home, man. Like
Yeah.
you neuter your dog and your kid gets the tonsils out. It was standard procedure for everyone.
Yeah, but for me, because I got it like at an older age,
Yeah.
it was very painful. Yeah, man.
Parents pitch it to you as like, you're gonna get to eat ice cream
got
for the
ice
next
cream,
3
right,
days.
ice cream.
Nice. I want my tonsils out again, Bob.
What about the other 2? Are they just as invasive or pretty easy going or what?
Well, the what do you call it? The septum. That's just they basically just shave off a bit of cartilage off the size of your nasal septum,
Yeah.
and then the turbinate bones are the ones that look like like little
Holes.
little bones here. They actually use laser to cut them off a little bit, so they make a little bit of space between the septum and that, so you give room for you to breathe.
How did you know you had
Sleep apnea.
Sleep apnea, yeah.
I wasn't like, when I wake up in the morning, I slept a lot, but I felt like tired still, you don't feel like.
Isn't that everyone?
No, man.
I feel like I'm dragging balls lots of times. But it's a noticeable it's a noticeable
Well, I mean, you could do a sleep study. It's not that expensive, and it will tell you. Like you'll see like the graph. You can easily tell. Even me, I looked at it. I could see I have serious sleep apnea.
My problem is I gotta get up and take a leak every night. Every night I have to get up and hang a huge one.
As prostate is what I'd be worried about if I were you. If you have to go off and to take a leak at night, prostate issues are.
Don't drink so much at night. Like if I drink
coffee.
If I drink one of these, in the hour or 2 before bed, of course I get up in the middle of the night. But that sounds like grandpa syndrome there, where the guys.
But prostate problems is what causes people to get out.
Right.
Yeah, it's like you pee and then you go back and then you're like, you don't like you still want to go back. You don't feel like you peed enough or whatever. You keep going at like quite often.
I definitely gotta pee.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll check it. Oh, that's a finger in the butt, isn't it?
Finger on the butt, or you can do something called the PSA, prostate-specific antigen. So they take a blood sample. They can do it from that.
Oh, no way.
But
I think I'd prefer that.
yeah, it's PSA is, but different. Like PSA is, I think PSA these days the interpretation of the results is basically specific to you. So everybody's level of prostate-specific antigen is different.
Oh, okay.
So you gotta have a baseline to kind of
2 blood tests.
Yeah.
Okay, let's put an end to the medical conference and get back to the Mexican.
Yeah. Mexican
This
food.
came from dishonest Mexicans to dishonest mechanics to dishonest dentists in Korea.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now
So
someone
how,
has a
how did you
silver
end up?
finger, man.
How did you end up back here, or what happened over the course of running the business?
Well, when the Corona hit,
Corona?
Yeah, well, actually, from December, business is just being well. It's Christmas, so I mean, we expected business to be slow, but usually it picks up in January, February. And we only got big repairs at the time, so it was transmissions or engines or things like that. So it was big repairs, but there was like 1 or 2 a week. It was really, really bad. Like business was very slow, not just for me, for everybody. And when Corona hit, I just knew this is gonna be it. Because business is just so slow, and add Corona on top of it, and the media. Just basically people just got scared by the media.
Absolutely.
And people didn't know what this is.
And California was the first hit.
Yeah, well,
or one of the first.
Yeah, one of the. Yeah, well, we were the first to shut down actually, and that's why. California was the first. I think New York and California were first.
Well, I remember New York was a scary one. From what I saw in the media, New York
mad.
looked like it was.
There was no
zombie apocalypse.
Dude, buying this hand disinfectant, buying hand disinfectant or masks was like buying drugs. I had to actually buy it from a Mexican guy from back of the trunk. He's just giving me like this hand sanitizer with like Mexican, like with Spanish written on it. Like, I have no idea what it is, and it smelled like crap. But anyway, he bought it. He actually basically bought it across the border from Mexico because you couldn't buy it anywhere. It was even worse in New York when my friend was. He said you can't buy it, even industrial alcohol or whatever kind of alcohol you want. No way you can buy it.
Wow.
It was really bad. But when that hit, like my all my cousins and they were like, hey, let's just wait it out. It might just be a matter of just like a couple of weeks or a month.
That's what I told Nate.
I said there is no way this epidemic is gonna be a matter of a month.
Yeah.
This is a long-term thing, and if we have to shut down for that long, people are gonna just basically, because people were just stockpiling groceries and toilet paper. Remember
toilet paper?
Yeah, remember that. That was ridiculous. And people are just gonna stay at home, and how am I gonna pay rent?
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, like the landlords are gonna forgive. No, they're not gonna forgive. They're gonna wait on rent like 1 or 2 months. But how are you gonna catch up on rent?
That's what I don't understand. It's like a time bomb.
It is a time bomb.
Oh, you don't have to pay rent this month. Yeah, but I have to pay rent in four times in 4 months. That's
Well,
Did you see the lineups yesterday in Texas
for what?
for the food, whatever the
Stipend?
No, the free food. What do you call it?
Food stamps?
Not food stamps. Just line up for the
food drive.
No, like to get free food because you don't have money to buy food.
North Korean rice line. Like that?
The food shelters.
Like
where you go to get food. I mean the lineups.
The homeless shelters you're talking about?
Well, they're food shelters. You go there to eat or whatever.
Food banks, maybe.
Food banks,
I
the
think
food
that's what they
banks.
call it, food banks, right?
And the lineups were kilometers long, thousands of cars, and it's only going to get worse. I mean, it's nowhere near.
Wild.
Well, in New York, people are leaving. People leaving New York. Apparently, it's a ghost town over there because people can't afford to pay rent.
Can you imagine if you bought commercial real estate there, like in September and October? Man,
yeah,
that's gotta be a.
You go and get it pretty cheap. No,
like my cousins told me, hey, just hold on. Things are gonna be good. I just said, no, look, I'm just done with it. I actually just bounced.
I remember even Nate was, he's like the Chicken Little, the sky's falling, and I was like, man, it's not gonna be that bad. Trust me, man, this is gonna get bad. I'm like, it's not gonna be that bad.
but it was so easy to see.
Here we are, 11 months.
For me,
later.
it was easy to see.
He's thinking that it's not gonna go around the whole world. Like it was already there. You knew it was. It was just Daegu, the guys at the Daegu church. were not doing it properly, and the Shincheonji guys exploded the whole situation here. But you don't think nobody was going back between California and Korea or Vancouver? Of course they were, or New York. Wow. So it was just a matter of time. It wasn't even a question of if, it was just when.
Yeah.
I wonder if that Shincheonji, if there hadn't been that super spreader in the beginning, if there would have been the same laws and rules and regulations, placed in Korea. If she hadn't originally spread it, I wonder if if Korea would have taken it so seriously and put all the restrictions on, or if it would have been kind of a slow burn and kind of 1 foot in, 1 foot out like the States. Who knows?
Who knows?
That would have been an interesting.
So how did you decide to come back here?
Well, I wasn't planning on coming back here. I bought because my mom lives in Australia, so I thought, okay, well, I'm gonna go back to to go back home to my mom. So I bought. What is that?
Look at that.
That's the picture of the lineups going for the
Jesus
what do we call them?
Christ.
Food what? Food
Food
banks.
banks.
And they said 80% of them are first time. Guys who've never used a food bank before.
Man, things are gonna get really rough over.
Well, you know their first time because they're all driving there.
Yeah.
I mean, normally food bank, downtown, inner city, whatever, but it's not, 5,000, 10,000 cars lined up.
What is there? People just putting like bags of food in the trunk or something?
Yeah. You'd pull up, they drop it in your car. Go.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Anyways,
That's
sorry,
crazy.
keep going.
Yeah.
Your mom's in Australia.
Oh yeah. So I bought air tickets to Australia, and when I was, and I got at the time there was still like just at the time they were just like putting in the enforcements and border control and all that. So anyway, I got, my mom lives in Queensland, so I got the permit to go into Queensland, applied for a permit, but I pay taxes in Australia because my mom has me on my payroll in her company. So I'm like, okay, well, I've got payroll, I've got my driver's license, I've got my have the like insurance card, like health insurance card. So basically, even though I'm a New Zealand citizen, I'm almost like basically a resident there because I've got all the paperwork, right? When I went to the airport with all my bags, I packed my bags, they wouldn't let me on the plane. They said, no, you can't. I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, well, we checked your passport and you haven't lived in Australia for the past, you only stayed there for like a month in the past 6 months or something like that.
Right, so you're a non-resident.
So you're a non-resident. I said, what do you mean? I got my, this is my health insurance,
Well,
my
my
national
mom
health
lives
insurance,
there.
and I pay taxes over there.
Yeah.
I've got a job there. Basically, technically, I have a job there. Even now, I pay taxes over there. So I got a job there. I got, health insurance. Well, yeah, that doesn't matter. We can't let you in the country. Wow. I said, well, Queensland let me in. I've got a job, and I've got to go back to Queensland. Well, no, well, that's state. You got permission from the state, but you didn't get permission from the, you didn't get federal permission.
Wow.
So I couldn't. They wouldn't let me on the plane. So they said, well, you can apply like you can apply again or try. There's an application online. So
lady,
applied.
I'm already at the airport.
Yeah,
what am I gonna do?
I literally applied, and like few hours later, I got like the rejection letter, like rejected right away, like
No way.
like a few hours later, literally. And I thought, man, this is just insane. So my mom is basically my employer. She wrote a letter for me. I sent it with another application, rejected again. So at the time, my visa was about to expire in the States. So. I'm like, well,
I'm
a refugee,
country,
Seriously, I mean, and
Well, they said that was not uncommon. I do the warden duties for this region for the Canadian Embassy, and they were sending out the same things. Like, if you want to go, get out now because they're shutting down, and it's going to be pretty strict and pretty tight to get in. So if you know anyone in your region who wants to go, make sure they get out and go home because otherwise, you might not be able to get in for a little while.
Yeah,
And I remember Australia and New Zealand were both pretty strict on that.
very strict, very strict. Yeah.
Well, New Zealand was down to 0 cases for a long time.
Yeah, I could go into New Zealand, but I literally don't know anyone in New Zealand. I would have to quarantine for 2 weeks there, and then I would be like, I had to have to get a place, and New Zealand's not cheap, So I mean, it just made no sense. So I just went to the Korean embassy. They were like, and I applied for a visa. And I just spoke to the lady and that and this, and I told her I used to work here, and I explained the situation to her. She was super nice. They actually approved my application in less than 2 weeks.
Oh, beautiful.
And I was I just
On
bought
your
my
way.
ticket the day I got my.
You guys
my
don't get visas on arrival?
They canceled that. You're supposed to get visa on arrival here. You can. New Zealand
right,
citizen, because of the pandemic, they canceled the visas on arrival.
That was to keep tourists out, right?
Yeah.
If you had to come back for work or family or something, fine, but they didn't just want regular people showing up. Yeah, because it was the same. The Canadian tourist on arrival visa got canceled too. Yeah.
All the visas on arrivals got canceled. That was I think it was April. They started canceling them. Yeah. So you had to apply and at the embassy, and you had to actually get like a PCR done before you get to the embassy that time as well. So I had to show them my PCR. So I just did the and it took them like 15 days to process my visa. I was worried that they'd ask me to do another, like another PCR, but they didn't, thankfully. So when I came here, they did it again, but.
Wild.
Yeah.
Wild. And you're saying you were reluctant to come back, or I mean, the reason you left was because jobs were getting less pay for the same work. What have you considered doing anything else in Korea other than
right
teaching?
now, I mean, if everything is on hold because of coronavirus, and I know there's a spike again in the cases today. I heard on the news.
Oh no.
Yeah. So I mean, it's just because of this corona situation, like. Doing like any sort of business these days or anything like that is kind of very risky,
Absolutely.
You gotta wait till this blows over, because if I've learned one thing from my last business is don't jump into things unless you've got like a serious like solid plan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Not out of passion. And it was, you opened my eyes to one aspect of having a garage, or what do you call it?
Mechanic
shop. I've romanticized about having a barber shop, hanging out and just talking to people and cutting hair. And I thought mechanic would also be a good one, but you were saying it's a pretty high pressure. It's a pretty high pressure place where people bring their stuff in and hey, I need this fixed by, in a couple and there's no time to sit down. I was basing my judgment off my old neighbor.
Hold on. There is, because when I bring it out to the kind of barbershop that you want to do, when I bring it out to Dad's mechanic, you might be sitting there for 2 hours while he smokes 15 cigarettes and you talk about the news and the corona and whatever. It depends where you're going. It's the same at home. If you go to your buddy's body shop or your buddy's mechanic shop.
I was basing my opinion off that. I had a neighbor who would fix stuff in his garage, and it was just him and his buddies hanging.
Yeah.
All the time.
That still exists. You just don't go to the franchises. Or
But as Nate says, there's a lot of dishonest people, a lot, and as a lot of people sell you stuff you don't need to, and that was where I kind of wanted to. I honestly, I would feel bad if I made money by selling people shit they don't need, I just feel I would go home and feel like. Just that dishonest. I don't want to do that.
Once you open that box, that's hard to close too.
Exactly.
If you can kind of pick and choose or take advantage of someone, it's not.
No, but these people, I got a lot of customers who are like high-end customers, but at the same time, I got a lot of people who just can't even make, they're just have very minimum paying jobs, and they're in California. It's very expensive, and. You'd feel bad taking money from people like that,
thinking about that at night. Plus sleep apnea, you're not going to sleep at all. Man.
Well, I didn't have sleep apnea at the time. I had it fixed, but I don't want to run a business if it's based on dishonesty.
Absolutely.
I'd rather just do something else.
You're a good person.
Yeah. It's not a good person. It's just how do you say? Just basic morals.
Not an asshole.
Yeah, just because. I don't care what you believe in. There's just a golden rule in this world. What goes around comes around.
Sure.
And that's just
a huge believer in karma.
Yeah.
Would you consider doing something different here, or are you here to teach for a while, or what's the plan?
Well, I mean, teaching until something else comes up.
It's not a bad place to be.
I mean, it's just relaxed, here. It's just over in the States, everyone's the California dream or the American dream or whatever they want to call it. It's stressful, man. I'm telling you, every time I open that mailbox, it's bills and bills and bills, and it's you can't really get ahead. Once you think, oh yeah, well I made okay money this month.
Well, you were saying, you mentioned the numbers earlier, 5 or 10 grand a month. 5 or 10 grand a month.
Nothing
here. Yeah, you could go pretty far with that, but 5 or 10 grand in California is probably it's like a steak dinner.
Poverty line. Man, $60,000 is like yeah. If you're earning less than $60,000 a year, you're like below the poverty line in California.
Lord.
Yeah. Well, the guy that
Eating
that I
ramen.
bought, the guy that I bought the shop from. I mean, he literally. I asked him to see the numbers. He just gave me a laptop with all the numbers of all his businesses on it, and I had to take a look, obviously, because the curiosity got the best of me.
Yeah.
And he's racking in, I would say, about $400,000 or $500,000 a month in net profits. Yeah. So I mean, you can imagine those kind of numbers.
I always wonder how much is enough. How much is enough,
dude? I mean, it's
whatever you decide.
It's it's the same here. Like, remember, like when I first left, when I was in Korea, just before I left, at the time, I used to go to a friend of mine who had a mechanic shop, and he used to get a lot of high end cars. And one of them like drove a brand new McLaren. I'm like, at that time I had that BMW, and I was like, man, the wheels on your McLaren are worth more than my car. That's what I told the guy. He's like, your car, and then one guy, he came into the shop and he looked at my BMW and he goes, "Oh my God, the wheels of your BMW are worth more than my car." It's the same. And
there's levels.
And there's gonna be like some foreigner in a Matisse who's like, "Oh my God, the wheels on your your Genesis or whatever is worth more than my car." It's the same thing. It's like, yeah, where do you draw the line? I mean, it's just, yeah. Well, I'm happy if, like, you got to find a happy medium, that you're satisfied with. Yeah.
And not being buried up to your neck in bills is probably a happy medium now in Korea. Man.
For me, yeah, right now, I mean, even though I'm just making ends meet, it's better than, just
stressing
out of my
out.
pocket. Yeah, stressing out.
Absolutely. One of we've talked about it on here before, but just living in, I could never imagine living in a one room could be so
liberating.
Oh yeah. That's the exact word, man.
Yeah.
That's the exact word. Just less to clean, less to maintain, and it's just you're free, man. It's a small space, but you're free. I love the feeling.
It's different when you're single. When you're married with kids, the one room might be a little more.
Listen, nothing
might
wrong.
Make you a little crazier.
24, 25 pyong, nothing wrong with it. I've been told by
That's
friends.
That's fine,
before,
but it's not a one room.
You need, but I mean a smaller space comparative to what we live in at home.
Well, apartments in Korea are very small anyway. I mean, even a regular family apartment here is tiny compared to something.
My place is 24 pyong. I don't know what that is in square feet. Maybe 700-800 square feet.
Yeah,
what is that?
Like about 7 hours.
Maybe.
But it's it's more than enough. You just don't fill it up with random crap.
It's cozy, isn't it? And like here, it's just cozy. If you have a small place with like, I know you guys have families now. With like, I see it like some of my friends who have families. They have 1 or 2 kids, and the kids, everybody's like it's cozy. It's nice.
It comes up on here lots. There's more junk, more shit. The bigger place you have, the more crap you have.
I look at my cousins, and they all got like 6,000 square foot houses.
That's
and
massive.
Swimming pool, massive, yeah. And the kids are like, every kid's got his own room, and it's like far away from the, like they're like everyone's in his room. It's like they only get together during like dinner time or whatever. Here it's like you're always like together basically.
Yeah.
Because it's like
I wonder how that's gonna be though when the kids get older. It's cool now that everyone's in the common area, or even if you're in a bedroom, you're not so far.
Basically not far. Yeah.
Not so far. You're a door away. But I wonder when the kids are 18 or 17. They're gonna be out of the house by then. I hope.
Well, you're in Korea, 17 or 18. I don't think
we're halfway there.
Halfway, 30, man.
Oh, good times. Anyways, you mentioned your BMW. What's the attraction for cars? Like I said, growing up, even buying my first car, I've always viewed cars as a mode of transportation. I never got into really appreciating the mechanics of them or any speedy cars or fast engines. I liked watching Fast and the Furious.
You've owned motorbikes, and you went quick on them.
That was cool. That was cool. But what's the attraction for you? For is it the look of the cars? Is it driving fast? Is it
more than looks? Yeah, it's about performance more than looks. I'm more of a practical guy than a look guy. Yeah.
You like, so what, you buy the BMW, you soup it up, or you adding stuff into it?
Well, have you been in? You have been in my car, haven't you?
No, I've never. I haven't even seen it.
You haven't?
No.
Okay. Well, yeah, I've souped a few cars up here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Is that a big part of, or is there a good population of Koreans who enjoy that? I know
It's a very underground culture. It used to be like a few years ago. I still have some videos where there used to be a lot of underground racing here over by the industrial complex. So actually, we used to go, and the police used to come, and then they would like split us up, and we go gather around somewhere else, and then we'd race there, and then the police would go over there.
there's no laws against racing your car other than speeding.
Well, the police really can't really do anything.
What else would you get? You get
toothless.
reckless driving, maybe.
Yeah. Well, the police is really like toothless. I mean, I drove really recklessly around the police, and nobody did anything.
I'm just saying, at home they got signs up that if you're racing your car, it's maximum $10,000 fine, and they'll put your car in that
Impounds,
machine,
yeah,
in
it's-
the
yeah.
smashing machine.
Yeah, but that's because it became a serious problem. I mean, I think a big difference now that I've noticed, and maybe it's just because of my in-laws, but they opened up one of the new self-car washes next door to mom and dad's. And these guys, they spend 3, 4, sometimes they're all day. They smoke about 3 packs of cigarettes. They drink about 17 canned
Washing
coffees.
the cars, you mean?
Detail their car,
And
yeah.
they just polish the rims and wash their wipers and wash the antenna. And they spend an hour on every little detail. And there was a couple yesterday. And I don't know what kind of cars they are. They remind me of, not an old Impala, but some of the old Buicks at home. And now they got hydraulics on them. But it looks like an Avante. It looks like a souped up Avante. And they have hydraulics on
They
them.
don't have hydraulics here. They have air suspension.
There.
Okay, that's what it is. An air
Yeah, they
suspension.
have air suspension. I don't think there's many hydraulic suspensions here.
What's the difference?
Hydraulic suspension uses oil. Air suspension uses airbags. So it's kind of like the ambulance, you know how the buses, you know how the buses go up
Yeah.
and down. That's air suspension. So you have like a compressor that pumps air into a little, you know, basically
Okay.
instead of this.
I meant that the car goes up and
Hydraulics
down.
is like a sweet rap
Hydraulic
video.
is the one that uses actual oil, you know, when you just
Yeah.
it just instantly bounces the car up.
Yeah.
But airbags just slowly inflate. You know, you can't bounce up and
So
down.
they got the low profile tires and you know, probably a few $100 rims. And yeah, I mean, these guys now, they don't own, but I mean, they run these self car washes, and guys bring their girlfriends, and it's like the #1 hobby in Korea now is polishing your car.
Yeah.
And I've never seen people take so much pride in their cars. And I went, if these guys spent half that much time with their girlfriends or their wives, they wouldn't, you know, they'd have a lot happier relationships, because God, did they ever baby those cars? Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And I go out to mom and dad's lots, and it's, I mean, you see some of the same guys, and they can just smoke non-stop. It's outside, it's open air, so it's perfect for them. Snacks, canned coffees, darts, a couple other boys, and let's just polish each
Why
other's
not?
cars for 2 hours
They
each.
usually have a club, actually. Like, it depends what kind of car you have.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, believe it or
I'm in
not,
the Santa
There's
Fe
worse.
Club.
There's worse hobbies to have, man.
can you
I think
can you
it's all right.
imagine? There's an actual like a Chevy Spark club here.
Sure, they got
Can you
forever.
believe a Spark? Like, you know,
They got the pictures on the back of the windows, man.
the
I'm in the.
Spark- yeah, the Spark Club. I mean,
Transformers.
who would take a Spark? I mean, that car is just. I mean, it's quicker to get out and walk. But anyway,
Yeah, but maybe it's a group of cute females or
there is a few females.
male students, or I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's not about racing, because you have the Max Cruise Camping Club,
Yeah.
and you have the Santa Fe Family Club, and
What's the new car with? I think there's a tent on the roof. Have you seen that?
Yeah,
all
the
upgrades.
the SUVs.
Yeah.
Well, that tent of the roof you can buy and install on any car as long as you have the roof racks.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's like a $4,000 or $5,000 tent, isn't it? It's a very expensive. I know it's a very expensive tent.
No way.
Yeah.
Huh.
And
It's
it's nice here to see the car industry is changing. It's not all black, gray, and white anymore. There are some other colors. And now I think what's the most eye-catching now is all these cars getting wrapped. And it's not at home where it's fancy cars. It's a guy wrapping his Matisse in gold, you know, shiny gold, or a guy wrapping his Sonata or something, right? I mean, it's not the fanciest cars, but it's nice to see something purple or green or off of the basic colors that we always see.
Yeah, absolutely. It used to be just, as you say, white, black, and gray here. And white is by far the most common color. Everyone wants a white car.
You could never find your car in the parking lot.
I know.
I had the red, what was it called? Pride.
Yeah.
That was the best part. You could never miss it. I mean, it was always so easy to know.
I like the silver Matisse because no one's gonna break into that. They don't. it's not. It doesn't stick out enough.
There's no break-ins in Korea, man. You don't have to worry about that.
But silver is the easiest color. I mean, honestly, if I was buying a car again, because as you say, I'm sick of going to those car washes. I used to go. It used to be kind of an activity to do with my girlfriend, and when I had a girlfriend at the time, you know. She was not into it. She used to just sit in the car and play on her phone. But I mean, it's just a lot of the guys go with their girlfriends to wash the cars. It's kind of something you do here. But I'm kind of sick of it, over it here, because I've been there, done that. I'd buy a silver car because they're very low maintenance. You can't even see the dust on them.
Absolutely, yeah. I like a clean house. Car inside clean, outside I could care less, man. Give it a good hose down. I don't need it to shine. I don't need it to do anything.
Well, I'm more of the value. Whatever the most shine I can get with the least amount of time is what I would want, or a wax or whatever. But I don't have time to spend all day at the bloody car wash like these guys.
Fair enough. Time is money.
But it's a I don't know. It's not a bad hobby. I mean, they could be.
Dude,
Well,
they sit there smoking all day. That's all they do. Sit there and smoke. Compare your shiner and my shiner, your wax and my wax.
This is an old man. This is an old man angry moment. It's like me getting angry at new music.
But if you saw them there every week or every time I go, you just shake your head and go,
listen, I hate everything and everyone. That's not what I'm doing. But
I think it's cool. I like that there's that culture that's created now, and eventually, I mean, but I'm used to classic cars, not. I don't know what are these
that's
cars?
an industry here that, I mean, a lot of people here want classic cars. There's just not enough of them. You know, there's not many classic
not
cars.
enough. You can't get them past the emissions test here.
Yeah, and it's hard to get them past the emissions test because you got to go to Incheon to get them.
In Japan, it's pretty big.
well, they're cutting from dates now, right? From like 1998, if you got an SUV.
Yeah.
I don't know what the date is, but maybe say 98 from this year. Next year from 99, they're cut, and then they're gonna start.
Sure,
taking them right off the road.
A classic car is a different. It's different.
These
art.
things shouldn't really apply to classic cars
Right.
because they're built back before when all these, all these strict emissions regulations came into place. But here they don't. I mean, a lot of people want them, but they're just not.
I haven't seen any classic. I've seen a couple of old Beetles.
Yeah, there's Beetles, old Minis, a couple of them. Yeah.
But there's no old Chevelles or Camaros or.
I don't think you can import them anymore. I think there's certain regulations where you can't really import them anymore. So. Yeah.
But that's what I'm used to. So seeing these, I mean, I don't know what we used to call them when we were younger. Maybe it's not appropriate anymore. But we used to see lots of the Asians soup up Honda Civics and Pontiac Sunfires and.
You're talking about racers.
Yeah.
I was gonna say Rice Rocket, but
That's what we used to say. Yes.
wasn't that the motorcycles too?
No.
They're crotch rockets, aren't they?
Crotch rockets. Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, we used to see them and think, meh. Okay, you buy a new car for $30,000 and spend $40,000 upgrading it. Man, I prefer the beefy Chevelle in the backyard, or the Camaro, or the GTO, or whatever.
It's a different feel, though. I mean, I can appreciate all these cars. I mean, I don't really like the racers, like as in the ones that have like very ugly looking stuff on it.
I think they're awesome. It's just not my style. I think it reminds me of the Fast and the Furious. But that's just not.
It's very
good.
tacky looking. This
Hunk of shit on the back.
I'm from the small town in the countryside, and that's not what we were exposed to a lot of. In the big city, there was always those cars. But I think it's cool that they're developing that. Like the other ones here. Do you ever see the old? Is it Corando?
Corando, yes.
Every time I see a Corando,
I think it's a woman, isn't it? I think it's a woman who remodels Corandos, like from the 70s or 80s, and they look deadly when she does them. She's very famous. I think it's a her. And she remodels them. I think that's awesome. That's like the old classics that we have in Canada. But
do you know what Corando stands for?
no,
Korea can do.
no way.
Yeah.
I thought a Corando was following me when I first came here. And then I realized, like, oh, there's 8 million white Corandos in the thing. And every time I see one, I think there's a song, I think it's called Fernando. There was something in the air that night. Every time I see a Corando, that song, it's in my head. Corando. That plays in my head over and over.
Sanyong is the new Corandos it's a Sanyong Corando, and Sanyong is now as an Indian company now. It's bought by Tata in India, so it's the new ones are. They're not very good cars.
Do you ever look at a car and think it has a personality and really hate it? Like a Galloper? I hate Gallopers. Oh, God.
Aren't they ugly?
Oh, I don't know what it looks like a...
They're in beast mode, man.
It's like a schoolyard
awesome.
bully. I just want to punch it right in the left tire.
Anything Sanyong is pretty ugly. I mean, Sanyong is like for example, years ago, they used to have I don't know if they still have it, the Muso.
Oh my
That
God.
looks like a moose, literally. Like, I mean,
John,
what was it? Yeah.
I'm triggered. I am triggered.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
Muso.
Their trucks now are pretty nice though, aren't they?
Oh, come on, the Action or
Action?
whatever.
Oh, what the
terrible
hell happened?
Freaking looking things, man.
That was
Come
like
on.
that's a shitty ripoff of the what was
The
that one?
Avalanche, the Chevy Avalanche.
No, well, there's another one too. The Aztec maybe.
Aztec.
Aztec. Oh God.
Now we
Someone kick a dent in that door.
No,
The Muso.
I like that those subcultures are kind of growing and evolving, and that there's other things for kids to or young people to want to do, to want to spend their money on, to want to save for, to want to to be passionate about. I think it's awesome.
To be honest with you, yeah, the older the Korean cars in like the 90s and the early 2000s, terrible looking things.
Boxes.
But these days, the Korean car industry is good. Old and new Korean cars are amazing. You got all
The
the
Genesis SUV.
all the Genesis SUV is amazing, and you got all the new Genesis line is great. The Hyundai, all the N lines that they're going right now, man, they're going hard. I mean, great value for money. The Veloster and the
That's an interesting car, right?
The Veloster
the,
N,
the
yeah.
3-door.
yeah, the 3-door. Yeah, the Veloster N, man, it's like you see them racing everywhere. Like nobody drives those. Everybody drives them like they stole them. Like
I thought
And
that
they're
was,
red, blue, and green instead of the typical colors.
Yeah.
Right?
I thought that was going to be a flash in the pan, but they've been around for a while, no?
Who,
The
the
Veloster,
Velosters?
A
yeah.
couple of years.
Yeah, the new Veloster N it's mad, man. It's really nice.
Huh.
Yeah, and now they've released the new ones with the dual clutch transmissions. Everybody's. Yeah, if you see them driving around, you'll know because they're loud and people
Huh.
drive them like crazy.
Interesting. One of my students drives one. She said she loves it, man.
Yeah.
It's good. It's a cool little sporty.
But now they've
little sport.
released like the Elantra N line, which is their performance model. Which
Avante?
What's Avante here?
Avante,
right?
yeah.
It's Elantra over in the States. Elantra N line. They're going with the Sonata N line, and we're going with the, everything. Is the N line is just basically throughout the range. So they've, where most people these days in the United States and most countries around the world are going with SUVs. These guys are just going with performance,
Cars,
sedans and small, hatchbacks. So, yeah.
That's why I think it's funny. If at home, if you souped up a sedan, people would laugh at you. That's a family car. You might soup up a coupe, but
Well, you got the Cadillacs, like for example, the CTSVs. People soup those up all the time, and they're big. They're
okay, but I'm
six
saying,
sedans.
but not an Avante or a Sonata.
No,
That's what I'm
well,
saying.
You look stupid.
That's
if
like
you
your
do
mom's
something
car. You
one
took
of
your
those.
mom's car and you souped it up. Well,
Well, but if it comes like if it comes like that from the factory, I mean, if you soup it up where it's like it looks ridiculous, I mean, you just you look kind of like a dick. But if it just comes like that, it comes, you buy it with, that, like for example the new Avante. Like before I left, I was just looking at the Avante, the new one, the Avante Sports. It's got a 1.6 liter turbocharged engine in it. It's got a dual clutch transmission. It's got like bucket seats from factory. It's got a sports exhaust from factory and it's got a race tuned suspension.
Nice.
All from factory. You don't have to, you have to touch it. That's
Nice.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Nice.
you just buy it from factory and it's good. It's good to go. I mean, you're not gonna soup anything up. You're just gonna buy
put a
it.
couple of Hello Kitty stickers on the windows.
Yeah,
and
Hello Kitty stickers and you're good.
your blood type.
Your blood type. What was it? I've seen some weird shit on the.
No,
on
the
cars,
blood
yeah.
type. If you go on a track, you legally have to put your blood type on it. If you go on any of the circuits, you have to. I think you do have to.
No, I'm talking about the guys driving through Oak Dog every weekend.
Well, yeah, true. But some of those guys, you might see them on the track because they might have a track license.
Right.
They might be at Tebek circuit or they might be at any of the other circuits here. There's there's a few circuits around. I was at the circuit a few months ago. They had like drag racing there. Yeah, everybody's got the blood type on the on the window.
You still training at all?
Like jiu-jitsu, you
Yeah.
mean? I kind of stopped for a while.
You got it up to blue belt, purple.
Yeah, well, blue.
Yeah.
I was supposed to keep. They were like, "Come on, get your purple already." But I don't want to get purple because if I compete in a purple belt in Korea, to be honest with you, the level is pretty high, even at blue level.
Yes.
If you go to purple level in Korea, I mean, you really gotta be like
Something-
dedicated. You need to put the time. If you
When-
want to compete at that level.
When I was training, man, I like jujitsu, but I love the striking so much more. Looking back, I would think, why didn't I stick with jiu-jitsu? It's more of it's a game you can play a lot longer. You know.
Yeah, you can.
It's not too late to jump back in.
But I mean, it worked out for you. You smashed like what 3 Chinese guys?
We won't talk about that.
That was funny.
An expensive
That was
lesson.
a very expensive lesson.
But
I think it was well worth it. But yeah, I don't think your wife agreed.
absolutely not. Man. That was for anyone who's about to get in a fight. Just turtle, get your ass kicked, and get paid. Don't ever retaliate. Just run away, man. If anyone wants to start a fight, just run away.
Well,
it's
actually,
not worth
I try. You know, I think I thought the same way when I was in Daegu once. I some guy basically who was attacking like this black dude who was on a like he was basically just like on crutches and he's just walking around.
Yeah.
And it's like this like weird ass dude was like kind of attacking him, and he was like saying all kind of racist things to him. So I just went to defend this guy, and he like started picking a fight with me. So I got on the phone. I called the police, right? And he could speak Korean. I think he was from Kazakhstan, some sort of one of these countries. One of these Stan countries. Anyway, so I saw a camera, and I thought, man, this is it. Okay, I'm not gonna touch him. I'm just gonna let him punch me. So he threw like some punches and stuff. And when the police came, he actually said, no, he hit me. I said, that's fine. We got a CCTV right there. But when they checked the CCTV, they said it wasn't working, which is really weird, And I had to actually go back to Daegu to the police station because he accused me of like me assaulting him. And I had to like get an interpreter and all kinds of stuff. And it's still on my record, even though I got like hit. So you got to be very careful with this kind of stuff. So I would
don't engage.
Only don't engage. Do not get the police involved in it. If I like these days, it's really because of the CCTV. I mean, if you like years ago, I would say like hit and run.
Yeah.
But these days, it's just like just get the hell out of there. You gotta make sure. And I had witnesses, right? And I had like the guy was defending, and there was another like American girl, and they were supposed to be my witnesses. So when I asked them to come, I got their numbers because I was defending them. They said, "Look, we don't want to get involved." Yeah,
brutal. That's
the whole. My dad's taught me since I've been 2 years old. Just don't get involved.
Don't get involved, and do not get the police involved here. I mean,
just don't get involved.
The police. I mean, just don't get out of there. That's it. Just save your headache because it's gonna be a waste of time. And it's like every time they ask me about it, like what happened there, I'm like, it says there, like it's in Korean, it translates to like like he accused and then not guilty. But there's an incident on my on my report. So it's like. It's nothing, but
it's something
still,
you have to explain.
I have to explain every time I go to get my visa. Like every time I go to renew my visa. So
and it's interesting how the law developed here to where it is now, where if anyone engages in a fight, whoever gets hurt will get some money from it, right? And my wife was saying that a long time ago, people used to fight all the time. When the police came, it was he started, and they spent so much time trying to sort out who did what. They just put the blanket rule on, like you engage, he's hurt, pay him. I don't care. They want the easiest way in and out, which allows me to sleep a little better at night. But it's still there's those cases like mine and yours that you just it's frustrating, but somewhat understandable.
It's a peaceful country, so I mean,
and I think we should be trying to find alternatives to smashing someone in the face, to solve your problems, man. There's better ways to go about it, I believe. But anyways, let's end on that note. Anything else you wanna?
No.
You wanna bring up there? No. All right, that's it. Everyone, thanks for listening. John, thanks for coming in.
Thank you.
Let's hang again soon.
Absolutely.
Peace.